We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us!
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous.
It's recording two different people right now.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. Like it normally should.
Yeah, well, I made sure to input my proper name.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
In these situations.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what's happening over here. Hello, and welcome to High School Famous, the podcast whose primary objective is to bleed to death heroically.
All right. I mean, if you're gonna bleed to death.
I'm Sean.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And I'm Matt. If you're gonna bleed to death, though, I think heroically is the best way to do it.
It's the way you would want to do it.
Yeah. I don't want to bleed to death.
In a cowardly way, or
yeah, cowardly. That was the word I could not find in my head just now. I was like,
or in a way,
unheroically,
or in a way like that would be evil or torturous or negative, right?
To
like
you, or like you're doing something evil and also bleeding to death,
or like you bleed to death into someone's mouth so that they like choke on it.
Right?
You wouldn't want to do that either. I'm assuming. I don't want to put words in your mouth or my own blood. But I'm assuming that's what you mean.
What I mean.
Well, you said that if you're going to bleed to death, you would want it to be heroically. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that you would not.
Well, what if me bleeding to death heroically involves me bleeding into somebody's mouth and they choke to death on my blood?
Like you kill a villain with your blood?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's fine.
Yeah, that's heroic.
So, but not an innocent person.
Super heroic.
Very heroic.
Yeah.
Probably the most heroic way anyone has died to date.
You'll choke on my blood.
Yeah. So do you take any issue with the claim that that's what this podcast's primary objective is to bleed to death heroically?
Well, I think up to this point, we've never established any primary objectives other than to just entertain the pants off of people.
I've always been on record that I would
figuratively and literally.
Yeah, I've always been on record that I would like to rock the Casbah. Have you? Yeah.
You've always been on record?
So what does on record mean? Like, I don't have to necessarily tell you this, but I might.
Well, it has to be on some sort. It has to be recorded in some way.
Yeah, I guess I haven't actually done that.
Yeah.
Then. So perhaps I'm not really on the record. So now I might be.
Always been not on record.
I've been off the record.
So from this point forward, you've always been on the record.
Matt, for the record, if something's not on the record, you would say it's off the record, not on record.
For those of you who don't know,
coming soon.
It's just it's a reoccurring joke here on High School Famous.
Yeah, and if you don't get it by now, it means it's probably not a funny joke.
That means you haven't been listening to the podcast.
True.
Yeah.
But if you go back to through our catalog, you will.
Yeah, and let's be honest, people. If you haven't listened from the beginning, that's fine. We don't want you here. No, it's fine.
that was you bleeding to death heroically, and me bleeding to death in a negative, evil way.
Yeah, in a cowardly way.
Yeah.
Mm.
What's happening, co-host?
Not much, man. Just kind of a normal day. Did some laundry. I went and got an oil change in my car. My oil, my personal oil is still dirty.
I was going to say, it can happen in the car. It can happen a lot of places.
Yeah. No, my personal oil is still pretty filthy.
Quite gunky.
Yeah, there's a lot of buildup and not a lot of delivery.
No, that's definitely a positive. Well, I'm not sure why. Why would they say that?
Hold on.
Hey, you're back.
Yeah, of course. We're five minutes in. 5 minutes in and already connectivity issues.
It's too bad I was cleverly riffing a one-sided conversation, and hoping it would match up with what you were saying.
Well, we'll see. I mean, you know already.
I don't know.
Oh,
I know what I said, but I don't. You were frozen, so I don't know what you said at all, or if you said anything.
I don't even remember already, man. It's one of them days. I already forgot what I was talking about during the connectivity being unstable situation that we constantly find ourselves in.
Hey, at the time of this recording, it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, it is Mother's Day.
To all y'all moms.
Yeah, but only to the moms.
Only y'all moms. Only to the moms, of course. Who else would you wish happy? Well, grandmothers, but they're also moms. Who else are you wishing Happy Mother's Day to?
Nobody. That's what I said. Only to the mothers.
You felt it necessary to specify that very implied criteria.
You can never assume that people understand what's implied.
Yes, you can.
No,
you can assume whatever you want.
Well, you should never assume. God,
there we go.
Grammar, fucking grammar. Nazi.
That wasn't a grammar lesson. That was it was some other lesson.
It's exactly grammar.
No, it isn't.
It's yeah, isn't sentence structure still considered grammar?
Well,
or using proper words, using the correct words in context of a sentence?
That I don't know.
I think that's still grammar.
It probably is that, or it's just basic English, like what you would learn in basic English class.
English is not basic. I think we had this conversation. We were having this conversation yesterday.
But there's a basic form
the
of
English language is so screwed up.
Yeah, it needs help.
Everything I've ever heard from people that like to learn languages or are learning other languages is English is literally one of the hardest to learn, just because we have so much slang for one, and then we have so many words that are the same words but have multiple meanings.
There's regional slang too. I mean, you got slang over in England that's nothing like slang over here.
Yeah.
So we will misunderstand other English.
Oh God, yeah. Especially if they're Scottish. Even other Scottish people can't understand some Scottish people.
Yes.
That is a crazy accent.
Did you notice? Did you watch all of the Taskmaster episodes that are out?
I've only watched the first 3.
So it was in one of those where that Chris guy starts going with something, and then Greg Davies goes, "Oh, he's gone full Georgetown on me,or something." Like
Geordie.
Yeah. So he's like, I can't even
Geordie.
understand what this guy's saying right now.
Yeah, so, the Geordie accent is pretty crazy.
I thought that was pretty funny. There's a heightened energy right now. I think it's because the crowd's there again, and no one's spaced out anymore on the stage.
I thought you were talking about us.
No, not here at all. No,
because I was like, well, that's because we're talking about Taskmaster. So
no,
we're excited.
No, I'm thinking there's in the show this time around. There's a higher energy level than there had been.
Oh yeah, having an actual audience is a huge difference. And so I definitely noticed that the first season that they did without an audience was harder. Like, it was still good, but it just because it lacked the audience interaction, it just felt just so much weaker than the previous seasons. You know what I mean?
It did. And even the banter between Alex and Greg, there was just less sort of excitement about it. It seemed like people were not as happy to be there as before. And so now,
which sucks too, because there was such good contestants during those ones too, that I felt would have been so much better had there been an actual audience in the room with them.
I mean, the series that they came out with during that time, they were still really good.
Oh yeah, they were definitely excellent, but
yeah, we're going pretty. We're starting off strong here, I think, with this one. As far as the tasks themselves go, I think there've been some pretty creative tasks, and not so much of the cleverly finding your ways around the rules has surfaced yet. There's been maybe that one example with the rope and the pole, the maypole or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, there hasn't been a lot of like, oh, well, I've cleverly thought of a way around the rules on the task to complete this in a sort of cheating way.
Right.
So hopefully we'll see some of that. But
that was one of the first things I thought of with that maypole one. I'm just like, just move the fucking rope.
Yeah. All it says is you can step on the rope but not over it. It doesn't say anything about not moving the rope.
Just move the rope and just, And the one dude spinning around while holding the table was smart because he didn't get all turned around.
Let's
At that
hold
point,
on.
yeah, you just fuck it. It's what we spoilers.
No. I was just going
okay.
to explain the purpose of the task so that anyone listening has any idea. The people are blindfolded or they have goggles on or something. There's something blocking their vision.
Blindfolded and goggles.
Yeah. Oh, so both. So their vision is blocked, and they have to do one of two things. There's a large square area of red rope around a maypole, and they have to either tie a ribbon around the pole or hit the pole with a ping pong ball. But they have to be blindfolded, and they can't step over the rope in order to do so. So the rope leaves them with probably 8 feet away from the pole, I'd say.
Roughly, yeah. I'm sure it's in meters.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be considerate of our core audience. So 8 feet, roughly, So yeah, they have to spin around 10 times before they can start the task. But the big joke is Alex.
Yeah.
Alex just gives them a thumbs up when they're spun around the 10th time. He doesn't say anything audibly so that they can't see him give the thumbs up. So a couple of people, at least one person, spun around 12 or 13 times.
Yeah. Is that 10 yet? And she's like, oh, it was 12.
Yeah.
Like, I gave you the thumbs up.
Yeah. It's just stuff like that. That stuff, those little extra bits are pretty strong so far in this go around. But so one person, was it just one person that lifted the rope, or two maybe? Either way,
I think only one person ended up moving the rope.
Someone figured, well, I can't step on, or I can't step over the rope to get to the pole, so I'll just move the rope forward, and then I will be very close to the pole while not stepping over it. That's the kind of stuff that we like to see in these shows, where there's the specific rules laid out on the card in the task that tells you what you can and can't do, and then there are people who will go, well, it doesn't say I can't do this, so then they find a quick, easy way to complete the task without completely embarrassing themselves. And because so many times it seems like most people's immediate instinct is to do something which would end up making it that much more difficult to get it done.
It's usually, that's, you find it a lot of times where they end up just making it more difficult for themselves.
Yeah. Like the fourth,
which is funny.
So you haven't watched the 4th episode yet?
No.
There's one task that involves shoes and trying to pick out the shoe that Alex is thinking of. There's a whole room of shoes, and they have to narrow down which one, and they can only ask yes or no questions.
Right.
There are very smart ways to eliminate types of shoes out of the equation, and then
you feel like, is it these shoes? Yes or no?
Right.
These ones, yes or no?
But you're graded on whoever gets it figured out in the least amount of questions. So you don't want to is it this one or this one or this one or this one? So there are smart ways to eliminate a whole range of shoes with one question. But then there's a couple people that are asking questions that are just out of nowhere. Like, what?
Right.
How is this going to be helpful at all? So yeah, that's another example you'll notice on the next episode.
What was like an older one where they're like, I think there was one where they're like, you have to pick a letter of the alphabet, and they just pick whatever letter they want. And then they had to like come up with like ingredients or something to like make a meal out of those things. And one guy
with that letter, right?
Yeah, and everything has to start with that letter. So when they pick the letter, they don't know what the rest of the task is. So one guy picked Q. It's like, you never pick Q for anything ever. What are you doing?
I know. I like the trap one they did this time with picking the coolest picture in your phone.
Yeah.
And then they have to recreate the picture after they find out.
Yeah.
And once they've chosen the picture, they have to find out they have to recreate it accurately.
I thought the guy's was better than the woman's who won, just because it was, I guess, I was just funnier to me than hers. Hers was probably more accurately recreated, I guess.
Are we talking about, was it the woman that was like strung up on the rope or something?
She was like doing some like rope gymnastics thing or whatever.
What was the guy with? Oh, the guy was the baby holding the beer bottle, right?
Baby holding a beer, yeah.
Yeah, I would have picked that one over.
This was good.
Yeah, because it was almost the exact same photo.
Yeah,
but I've been quite useless. Pretty good so far. I've been quite useless today. I thought I was going to be up and more productive.
I was hoping to be more useless today, and then I ended up getting out and doing stuff and being productive.
Well,
So we actually had the complete opposite days, wanting the complete opposite days.
I know. We could live vicariously through each other's experiences today.
Yeah.
Like when you said, "Are you ready now?" I was still in bed.
Had you been up at all out of bed, or did you get up and then go back into bed at some point?
I got up to let the dog out.
Yeah.
And then I went back into bed. Now, to my defense, I don't get many days like that.
By the way, everybody who's listening to this, it is now 2:13 p.m.
Yes.
We started recording 15 minutes ago.
Correct.
So Sean's been in bed, was in bed until 2 p.m.
Yes. I will also point out that I am on day 3 of zero caffeine, like 100% removed it. So I've never drank coffee, but I got pretty hooked on a morning energy drink. Like it wasn't like I have one every once in a while. I was having an energy drink every morning and then having multiple cans of soda throughout the day. So I've had zero.
It's a slippery slope, man, because I was really good for a long time without any soda. Pretty much, as far as I know, pretty much no caffeine either for well over a year. And then I don't know what it was that's just like, oh, I think I want to have a soda today. And then it was just like a soda every day, multiple sodas. And I'm currently drinking a Diet Coke right now.
Yeah, it's so easy to fall right back into it. But
yeah, I've cut way back these last couple of weeks, though. Like I was like drinking soda at work, drinking soda at home. And now it's just like I'm cutting back. And I'm usually not having soda at home anymore.
Yeah. Do you remember what time it was that? So we had played D&D yesterday. Do you remember around what time it was that we had eaten? We all went to, like, Mark and I went to Jimmy John's to get maybe 3:00 or something like that.
No, it was actually probably it was around like 2:30, 3:00.
Hold on. Yeah. I'm remembering now. It was 2 something. Because I remember
it was after 2, and I think by the time you guys got back and started eating, it was almost 3:00.
Okay, because I remember there was a Taco Bell right by, and Mark and I had parked and walked into the gas station first, then walked into the Jimmy John's, and we were noticing the long line at Taco Bell, and we're like, "This is weird. Why are so many people in line at Taco Bell at 2:20 in the afternoon?"
Right.
So it was around there. So now, with the fact that I had eaten a lot at that meal and I hadn't gotten out of bed until just before this, it's been close to 24 hours since I've eaten anything.
There you go.
In addition to not having any caffeine. So
yeah,
I don't have a lot of fuel.
That explains the bit of low energy I was sensing at the very beginning here.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm picking up a little bit.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't eaten anything today either, but I was snacking most of the night.
I got a little bit of sunburn on the back of my neck yesterday.
Oh, from being out there, and sitting probably with your head down most of the time.
Yeah, once I left.
I mean, I'm surprised I didn't either. I was sitting out there all night all day.
Yeah. So everyone, Matt lives in a different state, so obviously when the rest of us meet up, he still has to be virtual.
Yeah.
So he was making a joke about how he should also have been sunburnt being in the sun.
I was an iPad yesterday.
Yep. At least there was a digital representation of him on the screen of an iPad yesterday.
Yeah.
Matt was not an iPad yesterday.
No, I wasn't physically an iPad yesterday.
He likes to make outrageous claims to that sometimes.
You know, sometimes I just want to be different things. Is that so bad?
No. You can identify as
called an imagination, Sean. Have one.
You can identify as whatever you would like to. If you would like to identify as an iPad, then
I identify as us. We've talked about this. My pronoun.
That's right. Your pronoun. Okay, yeah. Yes, I have not put a pronoun in this time because I don't care.
Well, I'm just happy. At least you changed your name, because last week we had a major recording issue because Sean decided that he wanted to have the same name as me, and it screwed our recording up.
Yes.
It only recognized my audio.
It tried to, it tried to upload 2 files named Matt, and so it got confused. So
yeah, so it just uploaded mine twice, and luckily with the website we use, we have a backup. single audio file that's recorded of us both together that we can use in such situations, which we've had to do like 3 or 4 times now.
I can remember 2, but that's fine.
Well, two prior. There was 2 prior, so 3 for sure.
I know there was one where Mark was on.
One with Mark and one with Adam. Because Adam's audio did record separately, but then all of a sudden, for some reason in the middle of it, it just turned into digital mess. And I thought we were screwed. But luckily it was good on the master cloud recording.
Yeah, we'll call it a snafu.
It was really weird. It didn't make sense why that happened. Like it would have made more sense if what happened to Mark's, which we just completely lost his audio altogether. Like it never had a separate file for him.
Yeah,
that would have made more sense to me. The weird part was having good audio and then halfway through just turning into garbage. That was really weird to me because I figured it would have been garbage even on the master recording, but that one was fine for some reason.
Shows what you know.
Yeah, I don't. I literally have no idea what the heck would have possibly happened.
I don't either.
So
it's
textbook
mystery.
So by the time we got on here today, you just got out of bed. I had already been awake.
Well, I was awake.
Well, I've been sorry.
So if we're gonna do that, I was awake but still in bed. So I was 2 things. Okay, go on.
So I was awake.
Mm-hmm,
I fed my cats.
I took my dog out, so that's 3 things. We're tied.
I took Iman to work.
I went to the bathroom. 4 things. We're tied.
Okay, I went to the bathroom.
Okay, you're 1 up on me now. 5 to 4.
I came back home and got laundry together.
I watched some TV.
Took laundry to the laundromat and did it. Brought it back home and put it away. Went and got my oil changed. Went to the grocery store. Came back home. Put the groceries away. And then set up the call today and started doing this. That's an exceedingly productive day for me, actually.
Yeah, by this time in the afternoon.
Yeah. Still haven't eaten anything yet.
Sunday is supposed to be the day of rest, if you follow that sort of thing.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I get days of rest much anymore.
That's what I was saying. Like today, I was like, oh, I'm just going to not do anything.
It's nice, though, when you get a day where you don't have to do anything. But then after I do that, then I'm just like, if I have a weekend where I'm just like, I'm just going to chill this weekend. I'm not going to do anything I don't have to do. And then Monday you go back to work and you're just like, man, didn't do shit this weekend. What a waste.
I know. I feel like I've wasted a good portion of the day because I know that tomorrow is going to be back to work.
Well, for me, like, even if I'm not going to do anything, like if it's a day like you're having where I'm not going to do anything, I at least make sure I get up and out of bed like early. So at least I'm like up and moving around. So it's like, it doesn't feel like I literally can't just lay in bed all day. I would drive myself nuts.
Yeah.
But I also don't have a TV in my room currently. I mean, I do. It's piled in a corner though.
I was watching it. I was watching on my computer.
Oh,
and it wasn't really TV.
I do that more than anything.
It wasn't really TV. It was YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just like to simplify it by saying watching TV because
you could have recorded today, dude.
Line, I know that was one thing I was going to do. Then I still can. But the line between like something like television and something like YouTube is kind of getting blurrier and blurrier. So
yeah, I honestly watch more YouTube than anything. But my YouTube watching is just getting more random and dumber and like not even cool anymore. Like I literally will watch the dumbest. Cool? I don't know, but I'll literally just watch the stupidest shit on YouTube now. I've been watching a lot of or a lot of clips, I should say, of like the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial stuff. But
see, I have not been watching any of that.
Some of it's kind of interesting.
Some of the like my feed, my homepage or whatever is pretty nostalgia loaded. I'm seeing I'm seeing clips of like old clips of people like Chris Farley and Adam Sandler and David Spade and stuff on various talk shows. I'm like, oh yeah, so I've been watching a bunch of those going, man, those guys were funny. And so I'm not sure why those are just sort of surfacing right now. Maybe there's a more widespread desire to see that stuff right now for some reason.
Well, and the algorithm finds you once you click on something like that. It's going to be like, oh, well, you liked this one, so you're going to obviously like these other millions of things. It's like you just come out, just
you must love
like
all these
randomly see
Corden show. No,
yeah, I'll randomly like click on a video, and then it's just like now everything is that I see, and it's like I just liked that one video. I don't need to see all this crap. So there you go, people. That's how YouTube works.
I know. If YouTube finds out you like a certain type of thing, you get suggested many other things that are similar to that.
Yeah. Once you pop, you can't stop. That's YouTube's slogan. They used to make tennis balls.
And that was the slogan of tennis balls?
No.
Not Pringles?
YouTube is owned by Pringles.
YouTube, try and watch just one.
Yeah. YouTube
is owned by Pringles now. How come I don't see that little mustached guy anywhere on their website?
He's very offensive.
It's
considered very offensive.
Is he?
In certain cultures.
Then remove it or exclude it in those areas. But, someplace like America, where
nobody gets offended.
Right. But anyway, it'd be funny if YouTube was owned by Pringles and they remember when MySpace, you would become friends with Tom when you started a MySpace page? It'd be funny if you started up a YouTube account and your first subscriber was the Pringles guy. That'd be kind of cool. And of course, his page is flooded with Pringles related videos, commercials, and
just
things.
Potatoes, just tons of.
Oh, not even limited to Pringles chips. It's just potatoes in general.
Potatoes in general, yeah.
Gotcha.
Just all different types of potatoes, all the different ways you can, prepare them. It's not exclusive to chips.
I mean, if you really pay attention,
depending on where you live.
If you really pay attention and absorb all the content in, you'll come to realize just how important potatoes have been in human history. It's pretty impressive.
I think so.
I think potatoes are like an unsung hero in the starch world.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if they were to bleed to death,
it would be heroically.
It would be very heroically,
and kind of look like dirty water, I think.
Yeah.
Potato blood is not pretty. Let's name the prettiest types of blood next. What do you think is the prettiest type of blood, Matt?
The kind that's continuously internal.
There you go. Yep. It's better not seen.
Better, yeah. What are you gonna say? Better heard, not seen.
Better heard.
Blood, better heard, not seen.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so you don't think there's any beauty to blood itself? No, take away what it means if you see a lot of it. Take away what that insinuates.
I mean, maybe microscopically, it could be kind of like if you look at things in that aspect of just like how marvelous things are.
Yeah.
I would say yeah, in that sense, like zoomed in microscopically looking at blood, it's a beautiful thing because it's like it's just this substance, but without it, like there is no life kind of thing. Yeah. Unless you're a creature that doesn't need blood to survive, obviously. But
so no vampire. We're not talking about vampires.
Well, they need blood to survive.
That's why I said we're not talking about vampires.
Okay. Well, or any mammal or other creature that requires blood to live. Insect
or bird or mammal or fish. Anything or whatever you call fish.
Blood in its system. We're not getting on the fucking fish story again.
We're not getting on it.
God fucking damn it, the fish thing. It wasn't even my story.
That's how fish stories work. They just get bigger and bigger and bigger and more exaggerated as time goes on. You know that. Do you think that's really true, or do you think that in itself is a fish story?
Hold on, I'm writing something down, so I'm not listening.
You're not listening or talking.
Shall we move on? All right.
That's fine. Let's okay.
What do you think is the prettiest blood, Sean?
Yours.
I told you that in confidence.
Your blood was the prettiest blood? You already told me that?
In confidence. and you bring it up
Yes, I know. You were quite confident
in
when
the
you said it.
podcast, you know I don't edit things out of this.
I know. Like,
Now it's out there for the world.
I'm using that to my advantage. And I agree. You were very confident when you told me that your blood was the prettiest. I understood that.
What if I just put a bleep over you saying yours?
And then whatever I said,
all that you hear is just boop, and then I'm like, I told you that in confidence.
Then I did repeat it shortly after, so you'd have to do more than one.
Yeah,
but
multiple
anyway,
bleeps.
But you just got done saying you don't edit this podcast, so
No, I very, very sparingly.
You would be on record being a liar. Although you're on record right now being a liar because you have edited.
Yeah, I have edited some things.
Yeah, so we're both on record today with something, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time.
Yeah, it's about time. We need to deliver to the people our takes and opinions on these things officially.
What if you go on record saying that you're off the record? I'd like to go on record saying that I'm off the record right now.
Well, then does
that make sense? Does that work?
That's how that works. Then after that, what you say during that
but
period,
you wouldn't have to
even
say the. I'm just saying you wouldn't have to say the first part. You could just say I'm off the record.
No, you're right, but it's I don't think
but
anyone
to go on
would,
the record to say that you're off the record.
Yeah, I don't think that anyone. I don't think that
Should I
would.
Just keep interrupting you?
Yes, because I don't have anything actual to say. No, I was going to say I don't think that would undo the circumstance. You would still be off the record.
It's just unnecessary.
It's redundant, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not redundant. It is unnecessary.
No, yeah, redundant would be saying it over and over again, wouldn't it?
Redundant would be saying like, I'm off the record, so I don't want any of this to be recorded or used against me in the court of law. Whatever you.
Right.
Any reason you're off the record, you don't want it to come back for that reason.
Sometimes redundancy is fun.
Sure. Let's hear some examples.
We could talk about the paper I wrote in college, the fictitious paper I wrote in college about Eric being a self-proclaimed professional rock tumbler.
You
and
could
how
talk
every
about
time I mentioned his name in the paper that I
That's
wrote,
loosely
I
based
always
on a true
put
story.
Self-proclaimed professional rock tumbler after it, just because I thought it was annoyingly funny.
You said it a lot.
It was a lot. Because every time I mentioned him, I said his name and that. Like
that he's a self-proclaimed professional
and he's also
rock
on the
tumbler.
record saying this. It was always like, and Eric, self-proclaimed professional rock tumbler. It was
blah, 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 blah.
That was the problem with
College
going
and
into
you.
college in an English class, having come from high school, and me and you used to just write a ton of just stupid stories all the time.
Slightly.
So now I'm going into college with that same stupid sense of humor and trying to relay that sense of humor to people who don't understand it.
That's when you realized you weren't going to amount to much.
And all right, this is going horribly today, everybody. We apologize for more internet issues.
I hear you. I can hear you.
I have great
Matt,
connectivity.
can you hear me?
But my internet just wants to be real shitty and cut out.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah. All right. So it's going to be one of those kind of days where it was like, hey, we need to record now because I got to do something. And then it's just cutting out like bad. And the crazy thing is my internet connection is great right now. So I have no idea why we're having these issues again. But anyways,
me neither.
Welcome back, everybody. I had another situation with the connectivity being bad.
So the problem was you were bringing your silly high school humor to college. And no one really knew you.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much of it you caught or got, but basically that was the story of just like going to college from writing really stupid stories in high school, and our friends thought they were funny, so clearly we're hilarious.
Yeah.
I can write dumb shit stories in college, and people think it's funny too. Nobody thought it was funny at all. It completely misfired. The teacher said my attempt at humor was admirable.
Yes, that was a great
was
critique.
supposedly a compliment, but the word attempt is what killed it for me. Because it said your humor is admirable. Like, I find the story, I get what you're doing. It's funny what you're doing, but your attempt at humor is admirable. I don't know. I just felt like that was such a shitty thing to say to somebody.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like it's commenting on the humor without directly commenting on the humor, you know?
Yeah.
And all they said was that they admired you for trying.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rough.
Like even if saying like, I understand what you were going for here, but you kind of missed the mark or something would have been a better critique.
Right.
I think.
I see that you're trying to be funny, but you're just not. We take art seriously here. Get out. So that's when you realized you weren't going to amount to anything.
No, it was just my example of redundancy.
Oh, no. Well, it's also that because like, my comedic reach does not go beyond the four walls of.
No, I feel like I feel like, and I hope that my sense of humor has gotten better since then.
For the record, our high school had more than four walls.
Yeah, that's true.
For the record, it still has more than four walls. Not that I've been there in a while.
I think it has more. I think it has more walls now than it did when we went there.
I think, yeah. Since our graduation, our high school has gained walls, which is, I guess, the goal of any high school.
That's what they want.
That's yes.
I would think a high school's goal is to educate its students.
Look at the most accredited universities in the country and the highest ranked high schools across the country. They all have the most walls. Has anyone ever done a comparison with those rankings to their schematics? I'm telling you, it's right there.
I don't know if anybody has ranked a school. I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
You're gonna go on the record.
I'm gonna go on the record, and I'm gonna take a chance and say that I don't think a single school has ever been ranked by how many walls it contains.
No. They're not ranked by that. That's not how they're ranked. That's not what I said. What
did you say then?
The more walls, the better the performance of the students.
Okay, so
it's a correlation. If you look at the highest ranking universities and high schools throughout the country and look at the list of the ranking of number of walls per school.
You just said they don't rank. You said they don't rank the schools by how many walls they have.
They don't. But if you make a list that lists the schools in order of wall number, the same schools are at the top of the list on both cases, in both.
So you're saying because they have more walls, the education's better.
Correct, which is why each high school or any school strives to gain walls as it goes on.
I'm going to go on the record, again, the same record, and say that there's nothing out there that has schools. There's no list that has been made of how good a school is based on how many walls it has. Or before you interrupt me to say whatever the hell you're about to say, or say that I know that's not what I'm saying, blah, blah, blah. There is no list out there at all in the world of schools and how many walls they have in general. Not even saying that the amount of those walls are correlated to the education level of that school. There is just no list in the world that says Harvard has 248 walls, Yale 346 walls. There's nothing out there that has schools and how many walls they have listed next to each other.
I never said there was.
Then how the fuck would you know that number of walls is equal to higher education?
I'm saying anyone out there can do their own research and compare.
But you're already stating that that's a thing.
I'm stating that I've done the research. Have I compiled a list? No, but I noticed a pattern.
Show your work.
I don't have to.
Show your work. Nobody can believe this unless you show your work. You're showing me a piece of paper that says snafu and lunchtime, sunburn. What else does it say? And duo problems? What?
Audio problems.
Audio problems.
Anyway, all I'm saying is...
Word blood a lot.
All I'm saying is I was thinking about those high-ranking schools and institutions, and I just started noticing after seeing a couple aerial shots of the high-ranking schools. I thought, you know what? These seem to all have a lot of things in common. One of them being number of walls. I started digging.
So you're talking external walls only. You're not even talking internal walls.
No, but think about it.
Then how the F would you know? No, because I'm breaking this apart immediately by looking at aerial photos of a school and the school's ranking in education. You're making a determination that school has a lot of walls, even though I can't see any of the internal structure at all. Especially also considering the fact that a lot of these prestigious schools, you got me so fucking fired up.
You clearly didn't go to any of them.
Are multiple leveled schools, so you can't even see, even from that vantage point, how many walls there's going to be because there's multiple levels to these schools. Continue.
Oh, that was it? Okay. It didn't seem like you came to an end of your argument. So yes, that what I'm saying is the aerial photos was just the beginning. You can imagine what I found once I looked at their schematics and I could see all the interior walls. The number of walls was astounding. Then I got into the lower end of the list as far as academic performance. I mean, some of these are domes.
Go on.
Some of these are flat out domes, which is essentially just one wall. So, I mean, the answers are right there. You just have to do your own digging, is all I'm saying. I never claimed anyone has made a list. I just said if you did have a list of wall count compared to academic performance, the schools all line up perfectly. That's what I'm saying. Don't try to make any accusations to things I've claimed. Don't put words in my mouth. I never claimed those. If you listen back, you'll hear that I never made those claims.
Don't try to justify my claims.
All I'm saying, no. All I'm saying is, if you find yourself going to school every day in a dome, you might want to try to get into a more geometrically complex building.
It sounds like if you find yourself going to school in a dome every day, you probably don't even know where the fuck you are, because that's the lowest amount of education level that you're going to get.
Yeah, you might not even know you're out of school.
You might just think you're still in bed at 2 p.m.
Right. You might vomit in your shoes and call it swimming.
That is not a saying.
I just made it up.
At all. It's going to be a new one. Don't vomit in my shoes and tell me I'm swimming.
Right. What's that? What's the similar one to that? That's like,
it's like, don't, I think it's don't piss on my shoes and tell me it's raining.
Yes. Yeah. They both involve shoes. That was subliminal. That was subconscious. The shoe implementation.
Don't vomit in my shoes and tell me I'm swimming. Yeah, you better write that one down. My God, what did we just spent so much time talking about bullshit walls and education levels.
I challenge anyone out there to do the research and
nobody will.
See if they'll come to the same conclusion.
Here's the thing. One, nobody's going to do that. And two,
don't underestimate.
Nobody's going to believe you whether they do it or not.
You know someone out... Hey, hold on. You know someone out there, several people, many. I'm going to go as far as saying many. You know that many people out there...
You're on the record?
I'm going on the record. Many people out there are currently in college. They need some sort of thesis to write. And they think, you know what? This might be worth looking into. This could get me that A that will win my father's approval and allow him to put me on the board at his company.
I don't think it would take very long for someone to completely debunk your theory here or your research that you did. This astounding factual research that you did.
It's not called a theory. It's called a conclusion, Matt.
Okay, sorry.
Based on research.
Oh my God. It's not going to take long for somebody to come to the conclusion that what you're saying is bullshit, because all they'd have to do is look at probably the top 5 ranking schools and then get the number of walls. Nobody's going to this is the most ridiculous thing.
The wall count.
Figure out how many walls there are in this dumb school. And I can guarantee you, amongst those 5 schools alone, there's going to be discrepancy.
I want to see someone call up Harvard. How
many walls do you have?
Who can I talk to? I need the wall count of your institution.
Jesus Christ.
I'm telling
you.
you,
mean how
Matt.
many students named Wall? No.
No.
The actual walls of your buildings. Of all your buildings, even the outlier buildings.
You have to count everything.
Every building.
Because it's a lot harder
maintenance
to...
buildings? Do maintenance buildings count, or are they not considered part of it because they're not an educational facility?
They're the smartest maintenance buildings in the country, Matt.
I'm just asking you a question because you did the fucking research. Do maintenance buildings or outlier buildings in that sense that don't actually have anything to do with the education system of the college itself, do those buildings count as in the wall count?
Yes. It's all part of how the school
Even
runs.
though education doesn't happen in those buildings.
But it's how it helps maintain the school and keeps it running. Those maintenance buildings are important.
It helps maintain the walls that are part of the importance of this. Okay.
Their maintenance buildings are octagonal at minimum.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that immediately. All maintenance buildings have a minimum of 8 walls. At
the higher level universities. The Ivy League.
So at the lower level schools, are the maintenance buildings just a single wall, just out in the open?
They're in a dirt
like
hole.
Like a lean-to?
It's a dirt hole.
Oh, so how many walls do you count there? None?
It's not even walls. It's like, it's so few. It's actually the lack of a floor. And so they just dump shovels and stuff in there.
Floors aren't part of this. Floors aren't part of this at all. Don't bring floors into this.
I'm not. I'm removing floors.
Are we counting number of floors?
No.
You're not removing floors. The floor has apparently already been removed.
I'm removing floors from the concept of a building. So it's just
then
a
it
hole.
It can't be a building.
It's a dirt hole. They're throwing in shovels and rakes and, flunkies.
A dirt hole still has a floor, technically.
It's a subfloor. Sub meaning below.
But subflooring in a house is still flooring.
Okay. It's not at ground level, a sea level floor. Look, we're talking about walls
but
here.
It's
Why
still
we're not on
you
floors.
still just referred to it as a floor.
We're not talking about floors. We're on
I don't know why we're talking about floors. I don't know what's going on anymore.
You were asking about maintenance buildings. So I'm going
to have to lower the level of my audio in this episode.
Mine too, maybe. I'm pretty close to the mic. I was talking about the complexity of the maintenance buildings of the lower performing schools in the country. And all I said was that they're not even a building. They don't even have a floor. It's just a dirt hole. And they're throwing in flunkies and they're throwing in rotten lunches.
Wait, what?
And shovels. And
that's how they keep the education level higher, is they throw their flunkies into a fucking hole.
Yeah, you remember the superintendent Chalmers was coming to visit the school, and
of course not, because this is a fucking Seinfeld Simpsons reference. Fuck it, I couldn't think. I almost said South Park, knowing that wasn't it. Then I said Seinfeld, knowing that wasn't it. You got me so worked up about floors and walls.
I apologize for liking a lot of S shows, so that's on me partially. But you've got Bart and you've got Kearney.
I know the characters. Okay, go ahead.
Jimbo. Those, and there's one other, I think, I forget the other one's name, but they're the ones who are all locked down in the basement, tricked there by thinking they were getting a free bicycle. They were all kept out of the superintendent's sight so that he would give the school a higher ranking, or like it's like a checkup, almost like a inspection type of thing. So
what you're telling me is that your research is based on false numbers. Falsified numbers.
I did discover some of that. It got pretty dark.
So
again, I saw
throwing all your findings and your conclusions out the window.
But the Ivy League schools, 0 buried flunkies. That's what I'm saying.
That you know of.
Right. So, I mean, the research did
They're not going to admit to it.
I saw a lot of beautiful blood, but there was some disturbing elements to this whole research venture I went on.
Yeah. When did you do all this research, by the way?
Remember how I said I didn't get out of bed until 1:30 in the afternoon?
Oh, you did all this morning?
Yeah. So I didn't really do nothing.
You are wasting a talent if you can do all that research in that short amount of time. You should be doing some amazing things for this country. but
It's
you're
not, look,
wasting it in your bed.
it's not hard to look at an aerial shot of a school and eyeball and make an estimated, educated guess on the number of walls, and then correlate
You
that
literally said you just looked at all the schematics of these schools, even though schematics I don't believe would be the correct word. I believe blueprints should be what you're actually looking at.
What's the difference between schematics and blueprints?
You're going to ask me to Google something.
I mean, blueprint just sounds like they call it that because they print it on that blue paper, but it is a schematic. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
Once you get to know a couple buildings, you can look at an aerial shot and go, okay, yeah, there's going to be walls here and here and here and here. There's a hallway here. There's doors here. Here's where the bathrooms are. Mess hall. I guess in a school, it's called a cafeteria. In the Army, it's a mess hall, right?
Okay, a schematic is a drawing or sketch showing how a system works at an abstract level. A blueprint is a type of paper-based reproduction. I think a schematic is more like a system versus a blueprint being more of like a structure.
The structural layout. Yeah, I looked at I specifically looked up the wall schematics.
So basically, you looked at like, I don't know, wiring schematic of
I looked at the wiring.
Well,
and the plumbing.
Well, that's not good then, because that
shows me where walls are. There's electricity in every wall.
That's not true. There's
you think
not
every
necessarily
wall
electricity or plumbing in every wall.
You think every wall doesn't have at least one outlet or one switch for a light?
Yeah, I will go on the record that. I will go on the record saying that not every wall in a structure necessarily has electricity running through it.
In a school,
not even in a school. You know how many false walls there are in schools?
Have
you ever been to a school that they put like little half walls or false walls in just to break an area up? Yeah,
well, from the
those
person
walls
who said,
would count as part of your fucking education level, would they not?
Well, from the person who says the dirt at the bottom of a hole is technically a floor, a false wall is a wall.
But a false wall is not going to have electricity in it, and you went off the schematics, so therefore your counts don't add up to all the correct walls in a building.
Well, you're counting.
If you would have looked at the blueprints,
but if you call it did I say every false wall has electricity or every wall?
You said every wall, and then I mentioned false walls. So false walls don't have electricity, but you're still counting a false wall as a wall in an education system as part of their ranking. I don't know why we're having this fucking argument.
Yeah, so
why are we still doing this? We've been talking about walls for a long time.
You know what my favorite episode was?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Game Grumps.
Yeah, so
episode where they talked about walls in universities for a long time.
I mean,
like, the bullshit arguments and conversations that we've had in our lifetime. Oh my god, this one is
takes the
up
cake.
There. It's up there. We've had a lot of dumb ones.
But this is, the person. This is the word of the person who did the research against the word.
No,
of the
we're done. We're done talking about this. Stop it. We're done. That was me ending it, and you came back.
Oh! You ended on a point where you maybe had a little bit of a leg up. Or
no, I was just ending. I was just ending and saying, "Why are we still doing this?" Nobody believes any of it.
You don't know that. You can't speak for everyone.
Dude, if somebody is listening to this and believes everything you've been saying, I don't want them to listen to us anymore.
Someone is writing.
I'm going to go on the record as to say that if somebody has believed anything that you've said today, any of it, even the real stuff, I don't want them to listen to this podcast anymore.
Someone is jotting down the outline for their college thesis right now. Not right now in real time, right now after they hear this is what I mean.
They must be going to one of those lesser walled schools.
they're in a dome school for sure.
Oh man. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
We are on TikTok now, which makes us even cooler. HS Famous. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at HSFamousPod. Email us directly at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. We have Patreon too, but you'll never go there. Altogether, our hearts beat as one.